Okay, the next thing I want to show you is something that just probably what I'll say is showing you a bit of the potential of what Freeway can actually do, because everything I've shown you is pretty straightforward process, and it's probably a pretty standard business process from within what you would normally expect Ostendo to be done, only done on a device. What I'm going to show you is this one is just a basic shed estimator. And what we've done is put a few smarts in the background of the checklist so that you can see that the checklist itself can perform calculations or ask for different types of information and then do things with it. In this particular case, I don't send this back to Ostendo as a quote. I guess I sort of built this based on a one-man band that could just be quoting, does a terribly large amount of quotes, and not a lot of them get accepted, but you just go through the motions of getting the quotes done, emailing them to the client. They come back into any system, being an Ostendo system in this case, and you just hold them for information until such time that, that the client might accept into the future. So in this case, we're going to look at a shed estimator. This one is just a basic data collection sheet, and we've got our shed quote estimator. Okay, this one assumes that we don't know who this customer is. There's certainly, it's probably more domestic based. So I'll just put in some information about this customer. So these are mandatory placeholders to be able to put enough information into the system that if you wanted this information to come into Ostendo, it could. And Ostendo is actually smart enough that if you put enough rules in place, it will actually do a match against email addresses, phone numbers and things like that, because it can be used to update customer information as well, and not just take information for a completely new customer. I'll just set a completion date maybe of 31st is when they're likely to get it in. I'm going to log my coordinates so I can come back at some stage if I need to, or type them into Google Maps. And also want to record the time quoted just for my own benefit, so I know when it was that I actually recorded it. So that's just a simple checklist. This checklist is has a little bit more information in it. This particular checklist, it's going to ask for the shed width in millimeters. It's going to also ask for the length, and that's also, I've set that for in millimeters. The height is going to be a list box, and I'm going to select 2300. And then the finish is also a list box. I'm going to select zinc. And here you can see now that it's gone ahead and evaluated the result for us. You can see that down here. So it's added the extra line in after the mandatory information went in to then be able to evaluate the result. I can take some information about the shed position. So I could take a picture. So if you've got the ability to stand on their deck or stand somewhere and take an overview picture, you could do that. You could also just draw their backyard if need be, positioning of their house from the front yard, maybe the driveway, and then the shed position in their house. I can take additional photos. I can add audio notes by just speaking to the phone, and then I can also produce a report. And that report then could be emailed directly to the customer. So you can see here it's gone and collected all my information, also collected the value of that quote, also taken a floor plan, and any other photos and things would also be added to that. And if you didn't want to email audio notes to them, you could turn that off, or you could add your own written notes, which you could talk to and actually include those written notes on here as well. Okay. And once again, complete that data sheet, and that will go back to the database. However, that particular one, I haven't got that loading into anything. It's just been set up as data. Data that I can pull back at any time.